The photo hit me harder than any punch could. No warning, no build-up, just a casual scroll on a Saturday morning. Alice was in Dallas, at least. That's what she told me. Some sales conference. But the picture staring back at me on Facebook told a different story. She stood beside Bryce, the golden retriever of her office, all teeth and zero spine. His arm was draped over her shoulder, 2 drinks in hand, her head tilted toward him like a woman already engaged. The caption, "My real partner, #workhusband for life, 2 hearts, 57 likes, 16 comments. I didn't call her, didn't text, didn't even sigh. Instead, I opened the kitchen drawer and pulled out the beige folder I'd prepped weeks ago, after I first overheard her whispering to Bryce. At 11:37 p.m. from the laundry room. Petition. Disclosures, property division. Sheets. My lawyer called it clean and aggressive. I placed it on the kitchen table, logged into Facebook, and typed a single line under her photo. Congratulations. The divorce papers are on the kitchen table. Then I logged out, poured myself another coffee, and went back to watering the lawn. The sprinkler hissed like nothing had changed. But everything had. She called that night. I knew she would. Her voice came bright, sugary like she'd practiced it in the hotel mirror. Hey babe, she dragged the word out. I saw your little comment. You're not actually mad, are you? It was a joke. Everyone at the office does that. Work husband, work wife, it's just for laughs. I stayed silent. Let her talk. People like Alice hang themselves with their own rope if you give them enough length. You seriously took it the wrong way. She pushed on. Bryce is harmless. God, you're being dramatic. When she finally stopped, I said 3 words. Check the kitchen. Silence. Then laughter. Thin, nervous laughter. Oh my God, you're joking. You didn't actually click. I ended the call. I imagined her standing in that Dallas hotel room, blinking at the manila folder with its embossed legal seal. The absence of warning. Just facts. By Monday morning, the game had already shifted. I attached the screenshot of her post to an anonymous email. Subject line, inappropriate conduct. You decide. It went to her HR department. No signature. No return address. The message was short, factual. Photo taken during company time, at a company-sponsored event, appears to involve a supervisor declaring a romantic relationship with a subordinate. Please review. Send. Close. Done. I went outside to trim the hedges. Birds sang. The neighbor waved. The world spun, as usual. But beneath the surface, I'd just placed a landmine under her career. By noon, her Facebook post was gone. By 3 p.m., a text arrived from Dawn, my friend in IT at her firm. Bro, HR just opened a case. Boom. She came home a day early. Of course she did. People rush back only when there's dread waiting, never comfort. The Uber dropped her at 6:12 p.m. I was already on the porch, sipping water with lemon like it was just another evening. She dragged her carry-on up the walk, oversized sunglasses hiding the panic in her eyes. She reached for the front door. Jiggle, twist, push, nothing. Her key no longer worked. What? She muttered, then louder. What? Are you serious? Right. Now it's been changed, I said flatly. She spun toward me, forcing a smile. You're overreacting. This is crazy. Let's just go inside, and inside. I interrupted. This house doesn't recognize you anymore. For a second, her mask cracked, but she recovered quickly, walking closer, dropping her voice to something she thought was sweet. Come on, don't do this. We can talk. Whatever you think you saw, it's not like that. Bryce is just a friend. I tilted my head. Your real partner. The words landed, her jaw tensed, shoulders stiff. It was a caption, a stupid caption. I stood, set the glass on the railing, and walked past her. She stepped aside, confused, watching me head toward the garage instead of the door. What are you doing? She called after me. Resetting the board, I answered. I didn't slam the garage door. I closed it gently. Then I sat at my workbench, opened my legal pad, and checked off the next items in the list. Marcus and I had built weeks earlier. Joint credit cards, canceled, bank accounts, separated, insurance beneficiary, changed. Each stroke of the pen felt like the quiet snap of another string tying her to me. And upstairs, through the garage ceiling, I could hear the faint tapping of her heels on the porch. She hadn't left. She was waiting, pacing, trying to figure out if the silence meant weakness. But silence isn't weakness, it's preparation. The call came at 9:03 the next morning. I didn't need to answer. I already knew. Alice had been summoned. HR compliance. Inquiry. Urgent. The subject line alone was enough to turn her perfect little world into a fault line. She stood in the driveway, phone pressed to her ear, pacing in the same navy dress she always saved for important meetings. Sunglasses on, voice clipped, brittle. I don't understand, she said into the phone, laughter forced. It was just a post. Everyone knew it was a joke. Are you really no? Bryce and I, we're just colleagues. Strictly professional. Her voice cracked on the word professional. Even from 30 feet away, I could hear it. She glanced toward the house once, I didn't move, just kept sipping my coffee at the kitchen island, blinds half closed. By the time she ended the call, her mask had slipped. She looked smaller, her shoulders hunched, like the dress itself weighed her down. She opened the car door, then froze. No purse. Right, she didn't have access to the house anymore. She hesitated, looked around like a lost traveler, then marched toward the garage door. Knock. 3 sharp raps. Open up, she said. No please, no softness. Just command. I set my mug down, walked slowly, and opened the side door a crack. She slipped into a pleading tone instantly. Her specialty, look, I just need my bag. Okay, I'll get out of your way. I'll stay at a hotel. We don't need to make this ugly. I studied her for a moment. Your bag is already in the trunk of your car. Her eyes widened. She turned, and there, it was packed neatly zipped, her essentials all accounted for. I'd done it the night before. I don't want you locked out of the basics, I said calmly. I'm not cruel. Just finished. She opened the trunk slowly, as if expecting a bomb to go off. Maybe in a way, one already had. She pulled the bag out, clutching it like a shield. This is insane, she said, her voice rising. We can work this out. People make mistakes. You can't just erase me like this. I didn't erase you, I corrected. You erased yourself. I'm just acknowledging it. Her jaw tightened. She looked like she wanted to throw the bag at me. But instead she wheeled it to the car. Before leaving, she tried one last time. Voice low, almost a whisper. Please, don't do this. We've been together for years. It was a stupid caption. Don't let one mistake ruin everything. I leaned against the garage frame, arms crossed. It wasn't one mistake, it was a pattern. And patterns have consequences. Her lips trembled, but she said nothing more. She slid into the driver's seat, slammed the door, and drove off. I went back inside. Checked my phone. A text from Don was waiting. HR meeting confirmed. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock. They're not playing around. I smiled faintly. The silence in the house no longer felt heavy. It felt clean. At 11:46 the next day, Don called. I answered. This time, you're not going to believe it, he said, though I already knew I would. They grilled her for an hour. Pulled the metadata, showed her the post, even quoted your comment. She tried saying it was taken out of context. You should have seen her face when they showed her the travel receipts, same hotel room charges. As Bryce, different dates, same pattern, and the outcome. I asked evenly. She's suspended pending investigation. No company email, no access badge, nothing. They told her to hand everything in. She was crying in the stairwell when I left. I didn't gloat, didn't even smile, just said, noted. Because in my mind, this wasn't the victory. This was just the first domino. That night, she showed up again. This time without the navy dress, just jeans and a hoodie, her hair tied back. She knocked softly, almost politely. I opened the door halfway. Can we talk? She asked, her voice small. I let the silence answer. Please, she continued. I need you to understand. I didn't mean for things to go this far. I was just lonely. Bryce made me feel seen. But it didn't mean I stopped loving you. I raised an eyebrow. You love me? Or the stability, the mortgage, the insurance, the retirement accounts? Her eyes filled. That's not fair. No, I said. What wasn't fair was you making me look like a fool in front of the world. She stepped closer. I can fix this. We can fix this. I'll quit my job. I'll quit her off. You already lost your job. HR did what I didn't need. Too. She froze. You reported me. I didn't blink. I didn't lie. I just let them see the truth. Her hands shook. You ruined me. I shook my head slowly. No, you ruined yourself. I just filed the paperwork. She wiped at her eyes, turned, and walked quickly back to her car. This time, no begging. Just silence. The next morning, I met Marcus at his office. A small wood-paneled space with law books stacked higher than the blinds. He slid a folder across the desk. Everything's in motion, he said. Divorce petition filed. Property division in your favor house stays with you. Retirement funds protected. Joint assets already frozen. Good, I said. Marcus leaned back, studying me. Most men in your position come in angry, yelling, demanding revenge. You're different. I allowed myself a thin smile. Anger burns fast. I'm not interested in sparks. I'm interested in ice. He nodded once, closing the folder. Then she's already lost. That evening, I stood in the backyard, watching the sun drop behind the maple trees. The house was quiet, no clinking of wine glasses, no fake laughter echoing from the living room, just stillness, and in that stillness, I realized something. Alice still believed she could bargain her way back. She thought if she said the right words, cried the right tears, the damage could be undone. She hadn't understood yet. The game was already over, because while she scrambled to explain, to justify, to salvage, I wasn't playing defense anymore. I was already building the endgame, and the cruelest part, she wouldn't see it until the very last move. It started with a single email, not from Manat directly, that was the art of it. When you want someone's world to collapse, you don't push the walls yourself. You let gravity do it for you. Sent a short, carefully crafted message from a clean Gmail account to Bryce's fiancé. Yes, fiancé, the one who had been bragging about wedding venues last spring on Instagram. I knew because Alice had scrolled past the pictures one evening and muttered, "She's punching above her weight." The email was polite, cold. Attached is a photo you may want to see. It was taken during the Dallas sales conference last week. Make your own conclusions. I thought you deserved the truth before the invitations go out. No signature, no name, just the photo of Alice and Bryce, arms wrapped around each other, caption glowing beneath it. My real partner, #workcast_ban4if. I hit send at 10:02 p.m. by Shudan Sishatifan. Bryce's fiancé had unfollowed him on every platform. By midnight, her maid of honor had liked one of Alice's older posts with a passive-aggressive comment. Interesting choice of words. The cracks were spreading, and I hadn't moved a muscle beyond clicking send. By Wednesday morning, Alice texted me. "Alice, are you doing this?" I stared at the message. Didn't reply. 2 hours later, another. "Alice, someone sent Bryce's fiancé photo. He's blaming me. He thinks I set him up. Do you know anything about this?" I put the phone down, walked into the garage, and picked up my wrench. Tightened a bolt on the old lawnmower that hadn't run right in months. The silence was sweeter than any response. The fallout wasn't just personal. By Thursday, word had spread around her office like wildfire. Dawn kept me updated in careful fragments. She tried calling the director directly. He didn't pick up. Bryce isn't defending her. He's saying she dragged him into this. They're whispering about her in the break room. Someone called her the Dallas Disaster, a nickname that was worse than suspension. Nicknames linger. They stain. I wasn't done. Late that night, I pulled out the folder labeled insurance. Alice had been on my health plan for years. Courtesy of my job. Premiums weren't cheap, but it gave her the comfort of never worrying about a medical bill. At 11:13 p.m., I logged into the portal, clicked Manage Dependents, and unchecked her name. A confirmation banner slid across the screen. Coverage change. Effective immediately. No fireworks. No alarms, just silence. The next morning, she went to her usual spin class. The receptionist asked her to swipe her card for the monthly Wanu. Declined. She tried again. Declined. She texted me at 8 a.m. sharp. "Alice, my insurance isn't working. Did you change something?" I didn't reply. By 9 o'clock, Marcus texted instead. "Marcus, health insurance separation processed. She'd be notified formally by mail within 7 days." I smiled. Not because I enjoyed her panic, but because it meant the architecture was working. Piece by piece, she was losing the scaffolding she thought was permanent. That Friday, I met Don for lunch. We sat in a quiet booth, far from ears. He slid a folded piece of paper across the table. "What's this?" I asked. "Print out of her HR file," he whispered. "Confidential. Don't ask how I got it." I unfolded it. There it was, formal. Notice of suspension pending investigation. Words like potential misconduct, abuse of supervisory authority, and social media infraction filled the page. "She's done," Don said. "They won't keep her after this. Too much liability. She'll be blacklisted from the industry." I folded the paper carefully, tucked it into my jacket. "Good," I said. Don studied me. "Most guys, they'd be yelling, throwing things. You're calm. I replied, "Is how you win." Alice tried again that night. She came to the house at 7:15, headlights cutting across the driveway. She didn't knock this time. She stood there, arms crossed, staring at the front door until I opened it. "You're destroying me," she hissed. "No," I said. "You're destroying you. I'm just documenting it." Her eyes flashed. "This isn't you. You're not this cold." I tilted my head. "Then maybe you never knew me." She tried to push past me into the house. I stepped aside just enough for her to see the beige folder still on the kitchen table untouched. Since that first night, she froze, whispering, "You actually filed it." "Filed, stamped, processing," I said calmly. "The court date will come sooner than you think." Her breathing grew ragged. She grabbed the folder, rifled through the pages like she could erase them just by crumpling the paper. "You can't do this," she muttered. I reached over, plucked the folder from her hands, and placed it neatly back on the table. "It's already done." She stared at me for a long time, then whispered, "I'll ruin you back." I leaned closer, my voice low. "Try." Her lip trembled. She turned and walked out, slamming the door behind her. The weekend was quiet, too quiet for her. By Monday she was calling mutual friends, spinning her side of the story. "He's overreacting," she said. "It was a misunderstanding." But misunderstandings don't cancel credit cards. They don't suspend insurance. They don't get you fired. Her friends listened, nodded, but doubt had already crept in. I knew because one of them, Karen, texted me directly, "Are you okay?" Alice said some things, but honestly, it sounds like she's hiding something. I replied with a single screenshot. Her caption, her arm around Bryce, the hashtag blazing. No commentary, just truth. Karen's response came fast. Oh my God, she really posted that. And just like that, another domino fell. The true blow came Tuesday. Her sister called Miss Stephanie, the one Alice always pretended to adore but secretly resented. She's been begging to stay at my place, Stephanie said. I told her no. I've got kids, and I'm not bringing that mess into my house. Just thought you should know. Thank you, I said simply. She's unraveling, isn't she? Stephanie asked. I didn't answer. Silence was enough. That evening, I sat in the garage, staring at my checklist. Job, gone. Insurance, gone. Reputation, collapsing. There were still moves, left bigger ones, sharper ones. But for now, I let the silence settle, because the cruelest kind of revenge isn't loud, it's quiet. It's watching them realize, piece by piece, that the world they thought was solid was only ever standing because of you. And once you step away, it all falls. By Wednesday, the texts had shifted tone. Alice, we need to talk. Please, Alice, you're being unfair. I can explain. Alice, don't do this to me. Notice the pattern. It wasn't about what she had done. It was about what I was doing to her. In Alice's world, consequences always arrived from the outside, never from within. I didn't reply, not because I enjoyed the silence, but because silence was the most honest answer she could get from me. At 8:17 a.m., I logged into the joint account. Balance, $6,402.28, enough to cover utilities and groceries for the next month. Enough to look normal at first glance. Then I clicked transfer out. The rest my paycheck deposits. The savings, the cushion was already moved, weeks ago, into a trust Marcus had built for me. Ironclad, not marital property. Out of reach. By 8:21, the joint account balance was exactly $987.42. Just enough to tease security. Just enough to lull her for a few days. I closed the laptop, rinsed my coffee mug, and stepped outside to trim the hedges. The sound of clippers, snapping branches was almost therapeutic. Alice must have discovered it by noon. She texted again. Alice, why is the bank balance so low? Did something clear? Where's the money? At 12:48, another. Alice, are you seriously moving money without telling me? I let the hedge clippers answer for me. Thursday morning, Marcus called. His voice was steady, professional, but I could hear the faint satisfaction behind it. The freeze went through, he said. All joint assets under review. She won't be able to touch anything until the court rules. Good, I said. She'll fight it, of course. File motions, cry foul. But the paperwork is clean. Ironclad. I pictured Alice at some hotel. Desk, card declining, phone pressed to her ear as the bank clerk explained the freeze. Her voice rising, indignant, then breaking. Let her fight, I replied. Every swing makes her weaker. That afternoon, she showed up again. Not at the house, at my office. The receptionist buzzed me. There's a woman here asking for you. Says she's your wife. I sighed, stood, and walked to the lobby. There she was, sitting stiff in one of the plastic chairs, clutching her bag like a life vest. We need to talk, she said as soon as she saw me. I led her outside to the parking lot. Neutral ground. You're bankrupting me, she hissed the moment we were alone. No, I said evenly. I'm protecting what's mine. You can't just cut me off like this. We've been married 15 years. I'm entitled, I repeated, letting the word hang. That's the problem, Alice. You confuse entitlement with partnership. Her hands shook. I made a mistake, a stupid mistake. But you're acting like I killed someone. I looked at her carefully. No, you just killed us, and I'm burying the body. She flinched as if struck. For a moment, she looked smaller, like the version of her I'd first met, younger, nervous, unsure. But it was an illusion. The moment passed, and her eyes hardened. You're going to regret this, she whispered. I tilted my head. I already don't. That night, I sat in the garage again, my old legal pad open, the checklist nearly complete. Joint accounts frozen, credit cards closed, insurance canceled, job suspended. Only a few items left, and those were the sharpest blades. Friday morning, Alice tried a new tactic. She called my sister, Elaine. She begged me to talk to you. Elaine told me later. Said you were overreacting, said she made a dumb mistake, and you're trying to ruin her life. What did you say? I asked. I told her you don't overreact. If you're this calm, it means it's already over. I smiled. Thank you. You. Elaine paused, then added, she's unraveling. You know, I could hear it in her voice. She doesn't know which way is up anymore. That's because the ground she thought was solid, I said, was me, and I stepped away. That evening, Alice showed up again. This time, not with anger, not with accusations, with tears. She stood on the porch, mascara streaked, her voice barely above a whisper. Please, I'll do anything. Just don't leave me like this. I opened the door halfway, studied her. You already left, I said softly. The night you captioned Bryce as your real partner. The rest is paperwork. She sobbed, then, real sobs. The kind that racked the body. For a moment, I almost pitied her. Almost. But pity is just another form of weakness. Go, I said gently. Before this gets uglier, she stared at me, searching for something in my face. Mercy? Maybe. She found nothing. Slowly, she turned and walked back down the steps. The night swallowed her figure. I closed the door, locked it, and leaned against it for a moment, exhaling. Not from exhaustion, but from clarity, because now, I knew, she was broken, and I wasn't finished. Saturday, I made the final call, ready to file the public notice. Marcus asked. Yes, I said. He tapped his pen. Once it's public, everyone will know. Her friends, her family, potential employers. There's no going back. That's the point, I replied. He nodded once. Consider it done. That evening, I sat in the living room, glass of water in hand, watching the last light fade outside the window. Alice had always believed reputation was armor. The designer clothes, the curated social media, the laughter at dinner parties, all of it a shield. By Monday morning, that armor would crack. Her friends would whisper, employers would hesitate, family would distance themselves, and she'd realize the cruelest truth of all. Her downfall hadn't come from shouting. It hadn't come from rage. It had come from silence. My silence. Monday morning, the announcement went live. The county website, public record. Case file, dissolution of marriage. Petitioner, me. Respondent, Alice. Grounds, infidelity and misconduct. The document wasn't hidden in a drawer. It was searchable, indexed, stamped. By noon, Stephanie, the sister, had already called me. She's hysterical, she said. People from church are texting her screenshots. She says, you're humiliating her. No, I corrected calmly. She humiliated herself. I just filed the paperwork. By evening, Alice's phone was lighting up like a pinball machine. Mutual friends, old colleagues, even her mother, each one demanding an explanation. She showed up again at the house, pounding the door. This time, why would you make it public? She cried. You could have kept it private. I opened the door a crack. You made it public the moment you typed that caption. She froze. No comeback. Just the sound of her own breath. Uneven, broken. 2 days later, Bryce called me. Yes, he called me. Look, man, he started, voice trembling. I don't know what she told you, but I didn't mean for any of this to happen. She dragged me into it. HR is all over me now. My fiancé left. My promotion's gone. I let him ramble, then cut him short. You made your choices. Live with them. Click. By Thursday, Alice was jobless, blacklisted, and broke. She sent one last text that night. Alice, you win. Is that what you wanted? I didn't reply, because it wasn't about winning. It was about finishing. Friday morning, I sat with Marcus in his office. He slid one last folder across the desk. The trust is finalized, he said. Everything, your retirement, investments, property is secured. She can't touch it. And the house? I asked. Yours, he confirmed. She waved. Her claim, in exchange for temporary support. She thinks you'll keep paying her something, but she didn't read the clause. I raised an eyebrow. Which clause? He smiled faintly. The one that makes the support conditional. If she's found guilty of misconduct by her employer, her claim vanishes permanently, and you already have that in writing. I sat back in the chair, the weight of inevitability sinking in. Alice hadn't just lost me. She'd lost everything she thought was hers. She came one last time. Saturday evening, 7:42 p.m., not with tears, not with rage, just hollow. She stood on the porch, eyes rimmed red, voice flat. I have nothing left. Now what? I opened the door slowly, looked at her for a long moment, then said, now you learn what nothing feels like. Her lip trembled. You wanted to destroy me. I shook my head. No, I wanted you to see yourself without me. And that's destruction enough. She turned, dragging her empty bag behind her, and walked into the night. No words, no fight, just silence. I closed the door gently, locked it, walked back to the living room, poured a glass of water, and sat down. Some revenge is loud, but the most dangerous, it's whispering.